we mentioned earlier that you played for the England C team. You, of course, were capped 7 times for Scotland. How did you hear about your first call up, and what are some of your fondest memories from being a Scottish international?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. So when I joined Peterborough, I spoke to Barry about that I was eligible to play for Scotland. My nan was Scottish, and if ever the opportunity arose, I'd like to be considered or and consider the opportunity to play for Scotland. So I've picked my first cap up when I was at Peterborough. So I think George Burley came to watch me at some stage, and when I've spoke to Barry in the past, and I don't think he was interested at that moment in time. And then when I was doing really, really well, I think Craig Levine was the manager. He came to watch. And then I got a phone call one day I think I was on the bus on the way home from a game against Bristol Rovers, and he basically rang me and was saying like, I want to call you up to the squad. They've got a game. I think it was like a day or 2 days later against Brazil. So I was like, wow, like that was like anyone to have played against or be involved against. Like you couldn't have asked for a better start. So
Mate, amazing.
yeah, so I travelled down to so they were playing at the Emirates. It was like an exhibition show game. So I travelled down to the Emirates, went to the hotel near there, met up with the squad, and it's probably the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life. I like walked in, met the boys. They were sitting down having dinner, and I was trying not to be like sick while I was eating my food because I was so nervous. Like being in around like Kenny Miller, Darren Fletcher, like all these the big names, like Alan McGregor that I'd seen like play previously for Scotland, but also play for the big teams that they played for. Um, so it was an amazing experience. They were great with me, and then they said to be involved. I got on for I think 5-10 minutes against Brazil was just mind blowing. So that was like in a space of kind of 4 years from Dagenham. I then ended up playing for Scotland. So it was just I was so proud. My nan was there. All my family were there to see it, and I loved every cap I got for Scotland. I loved it because I loved the passion of the fans. It kind of matched who I was as a person, like giving everything I had for the team. So it was always an enjoyable experience to be part of it.
Yeah. Can you remember some of the names of that were in that Brazil team that you played against, Craig?
So Neymar was like a up and coming young player at that time. I think he was like maybe 19. Absolutely
Wow.
tore the team to pieces. I think he scored 2 goals that day. And yeah, like Dani Alves was right back. Thiago Silva was centre half, and then Lucio, whose shirt I got at the end of the game, he was centre half. And then you had players like kind of like David Luiz and stuff like that were playing as well. So it was a really good squad, and it was like just to play against players at the top level and see what they like, see how they move, see like how big they are, like how strong they are, how quick they are was just an amazing insight. 'Cause you get to see them on the TV, and you maybe sit at a game and watch, but to actually be on the field and actually feel that and kind of get an experience of that it was amazing.
100%. There must have been a real conflict because there you are, obviously at the end of the game, the opportunity to be able to swap your shirt and get a Brazilian shirt. But there must have been a part of you that wanted to keep hold of your first Scotland shirt as well, right? So was you able? Because I know some players end up with 2 shirts. Was you able to still keep a shirt from your debut? How did that kind of work?
Yeah, lucky enough we got a couple of shirts, so it worked out well. I had one to play in, and then obviously I had like one
Yeah,
I got to keep. So yeah, I swapped shirts. As I said, I was lucky to be standing next to Lucio as the
yeah,
full-time whistle. So obviously Brazilian legend. So kind of I got to swap shirts, which was amazing. Just to have my own Scotland shirt was
oh yeah,
was amazing. But then obviously to walk off
yeah,
the pitch with a Brazil shirt, like
yeah.
in my for my first cap, like I've got it framed and it's up on my wall. So it was just an amazing. It was just like I had to pinch myself to realise like how far I'd come in such a short space of time.